In 2018, a neuroscientist named Matthieu Boisgontier ran an experiment nobody expected to matter. He attached electrodes to people's skulls and gave them a video game. Players had to move their avatar toward active figures, away from lazy ones. Then he reversed the direction. Move toward the lazy figure, away from the active one. Both directions felt equally fast to the players. They were wrong. Moving toward the lazy figure came out faster by 32 milliseconds. Consistently, Boisgontier gave this a name: automatic avoidance of physical effort. You already have a name for it. You've been applying it to yourself for years. You call it laziness. The name is wrong. The industry built around it knows that. For 200,000 years, every calorie your ancestors burned had to be earned back. Missed too many, they died. Your ancestors ate what they caught that day, or they didn't eat. No stored food, no backup supply. Each calorie required a fresh hunt. A single bad week of hunting meant winter killed you. The brain evolved one rule above everything else: do not burn energy you don't have to burn. The hunter who rested in the shade after a kill survived. He had fuel left for the next hunt. The hunter who kept running after the kill, burning reserves for no reason, didn't make winter. You carry the resting hunter's brain. So does everyone reading this. Your brain accounts for 2% of your body weight. It burns 20% of your daily calorie intake. Automatically, with no input from you. Each unnecessary thought draws from the same pool. Decisions cost real calories. The brain built a circuit breaker. Effort with no immediate return triggers a shutdown. The shutdown is the feature. In 1998, a psychologist named Baumeister decided to measure this. On the table, freshly baked cookies and a bowl of radishes. Half the participants ate the cookies. The other half could only eat radishes. Baumeister handed both groups an unsolvable puzzle and watched. The radish group gave up in 8 minutes. The cookie group lasted 19. Resisting the cookies had drained something. Baumeister called it ego depletion. Willpower, Baumeister concluded, runs on a finite resource. Character has nothing to do with it. Every act of self-control draws from the same tank. Barack Obama wore the same gray suit almost every day of his presidency. He said it directly. He doesn't want to make decisions about what he wears. He has bigger decisions to make. Steve Jobs wore the same black turtleneck. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same gray shirt. Both described it the same way. Fewer decisions before the ones that mattered. In 2014, Baumeister's theory hit a problem. A researcher named Michael Inzlicht reran the ego depletion experiments across 6 countries. The results didn't replicate. The tank was half full. The brain had closed the valve on a task it judged not worth the cost. The brain reallocated the fuel elsewhere. The brain was running one calculation: is this effort worth the calories it costs? If the answer was unclear, it pulled the emergency brake. Someone noticed the gap between what the brain runs on and what modern office life asks of it. They didn't use that knowledge to help you. They used it to sell to you. The global productivity industry was worth $43 billion in 2022. It grows every year. Its entire business model runs on one belief: your default setting is broken. Picture a conference room. The company doesn't matter. Someone stands up and walks to the whiteboard. They write 2 words. Guilt lives in the gap between your natural behavior and their prescribed one. David Allen published Getting Things Done in 2001. It sold over 1.5 million copies. It sold because millions of people felt perpetually behind. The global market for productivity apps alone crossed $58 billion in 2023. All of them sell the same diagnosis: your brain is the problem. We have the fix. None of them mention this part. The average office worker produces focused output for 2 hours and 53 minutes per day. Researchers tracked over 2,000 workers across 8 countries. That's the number. The brain tops out. 8 hours of focused cognitive work exceeds its design capacity. Anders Ericsson spent 30 years studying elite performers, musicians, athletes, chess grandmasters. His ceiling, 4 hours of deep work per day, measured across hundreds of subjects. Past 4 hours, output quality drops. Then it actively gets worse. Robert Owen invented the 8-hour workday in 1817 for factory workers running one repetitive physical task. The factories changed. The hours didn't. When the hours stop adding up, the industry has an answer ready: push harder, wake up earlier, optimize, do more. All of it built on one idea. Your natural brain state is a malfunction. It isn't. You stare at the task. Nothing fires. The mind goes quiet. Your brain is running an old calculation. The calculation: does this effort produce something survival relevant? Writing a report that might help your manager, who might recommend you, who might get you promoted, is, evolutionarily speaking, a terrible bet. The brain is negotiating. Give the brain a clear, immediate reward. The resistance signal drops. Ericsson's elite performers stopped at the wall. Every time they hit fatigue, they quit for the day. They rested completely and came back the next session. The rest was the system. Your mind drifts. You stare at the ceiling and lose the thread mid-task. Your brain's default mode network is running. Memory consolidates. Problems work themselves out. The productivity industry calls that wasted time. Neuroscience calls it essential maintenance. You were never failing at productivity. You were succeeding at something the $43 billion industry cannot sell. You were running as a biological organism runs, according to its own design. Boisgontier's experiment found a wire laid down 200,000 years ago and still active. It kept your bloodline alive long enough for you to exist. Someone convinced you it was broken, then sold you the repair kit, $29.99 a month. Nothing is broken. You're not lazy, you're conserving. Your ancestors hunted when it mattered and rested when they could. Survival required both. Overriding the instinct was never the point. The only variable is what you aim it at. Same ancient brain, different hunt.